Good evening. Welcome to the City of Cartersville. I'm going to call this meeting to order. If you'll please stand for invocation and pledge.
Good evening, everyone. Let us bow our heads and pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, we come this evening to do the business of the city, but at the same time recognize some young ones this one day going to sit in our place. I want to give honor, Father, to the Cartersville Little League, the coaches, the players, and all the families. For some, they may take this for granted, but this weren't a small feat. And you, young people, have the opportunity, 12, 10, 11 years old, to represent your state, the entire state of Georgia, and make us proud. Father God, we don't take this for granted, and we just honored to be in their presence. At the same time, Father, come down to bless this council as we do the work of the city, and be an example for the young people that's here to see us work. We praise you, we lift you up, we bless your name. It's in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's direct the roll, please.
Carrie Todd, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
Here.
Carrie Ross, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Alyssa Cordell, Ward 6.
Here.
Thank you, Julia. At the risk of sounding like Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec, this is what local government's about. We got a full house tonight to do the business of the people, so we're happy to do that. Our first order of business is the council meeting minutes approval from our July 17th meeting. And council, you've had an opportunity to look these over. Now would be an opportunity to make any edits that may be necessary, and if not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And those minutes are approved unanimously. As Councilman Cooley so eloquently put it in our prayer, I don't think I can say anything better than you just did there, Calvin. So we are honored to be able to honor the 12 and under Cartersville All-Stars who just got back from representing our state as Team Georgia. Is there somebody from the team that would like to come forward and make some comments about the team? I told you. I mean, I did. And just for our minutes, if you'll please state your name and your address, please.
Ty Mitchum, 544 West Main Street, Cartersville, Georgia. Thank you, council, city manager, for having us this evening. This group of young men, this team formulates at the end of our regular season, and so they're on separate teams or dispersed amongst 8 different teams during our regular season play that runs March through May. We grouped them together in May and started practicing and working with this young group of guys. 3 new players this year from last year's team, or 2? Is it 2? They've changed. We've had different rosters every year since 8 years old, and so the point of that is it's mixed up each year, and you're trying to figure out how do you go out and you win in the summer. Many of you guys have been involved in our program in one way or another. Coach Cooley coached me on the Mets, coached alongside Jace when his son was coming through, and this program is 71 years young, and it's played a role in a lot of lives in this community. And this was the first state championship we've been able to win for the 12 and under division, which is the big division that makes it to Williamsport. And just so thankful for the attitudes these young men have gone and spent a week in Macon for the state tournament. Lived the hotel life, which is a struggle when you're 12 and trying to figure out how to entertain yourself in a hotel, and then did it again at Warner Robins. And just on behalf of us, want to thank the city just for support. And y'all know me. This is kind of the end of 11 years of me serving there, working daily, and whether it's working on fundraising, coaching, repairing something on site, or just in the community, trying to be a positive advocate for this program and what it does for for all the kids in the program. When I first started, we were about 250 kids, and and today I think we're around 370, 380, and it's and so the board works really hard to make decisions for 370, 380 kids, and make sure that it's a positive impact, on those kids, on their families, and what we're doing here in Cartersville. So could not be more proud of what these young men have done this summer, and thankful for this council, and the recreation department has always supported us, and just so thankful that you guys have helped us along the way. But again, this didn't start with me and did not start with this group. This started 1955 when guys started saying, hey, we need community baseball in this town. And it's been just every year, moms and dads and families chipping in to run a good program. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Ty. I have a proclamation here that I'll read very quickly, and says, whereas the City of Cartersville proudly recognized the 2025 Cartersville Little League All-Star Team for their outstanding accomplishments, teamwork, and sportsmanship. This exceptional team won the District 5 championship with a combined score of 28-6 and went on to win Georgia State Championship with a combined score of 29-4, including a 5-2 win over Warner Robins in the title game, in their own backyard, I might add. They became the first team in Cartersville Little League and the first from Northwest Georgia since 1953 to earn the honor of representing Georgia at the Southeast Little League Regional Tournament. These achievements reflect the dedication and talent of the players: Hayes Burris, Messiah Carter, Grayson Dean, Sawyer Ezel, Gavin Ham, Carter Harris, Emery Harris, Micah Mitchum, Connor Murphy, Harris Presley, Hayden Stewart, and Sawyer White. And we also recognize manager Andy Burris, assistant coaches Ty Mitchum and Jeff Osborne, and supporters Ryan Dean, Sean Harris, Hunter Osborne, and Lane Wilson for their leadership and commitment to the team's success. Now, therefore, I, Matthew J. Santini, Mayor of Cartersville, along with my fellow city council members, do hereby commend the 2025 Cartersville Little League All-Stars for their historic achievement and the pride that they have brought our community. Hear, hear. Let's clap. Come on down, guys. We've got a proclamation for everybody, and we'll take a group picture, and then we'll send y'all on your way. How about that? I'm going to stand right here. You guys do whatever you want to do. Coaches, too. Let's do it. Take care. I got to pile it tight now.
In there.
1, 2. Thank y'all.
Now, again, y'all are welcome to stay, but I know you got homework and maybe other things to do.
Right in there, Mr. Burris. Jeff, how are you? Good to see you. See you, Tom. All good.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good night.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
You didn't officially get a vote for the proclamation, but that's fine.
You know what?
You didn't officially get a vote for the proclamation, but that's fine.
I think it'll be fun.
I don't think he.
I don't know. Do we ever vote on those?
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Sometimes.
We are gonna wait just a moment. I know as the Little League folks are leaving, I know we've got other folks from the community that want to be in here, so we'll wait to give them an opportunity to file in before we start the next item. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for giving up your space for the Little League guys. I think that was the right thing to do, so thank you all for that. And I think they also got here before you, so you didn't really have a difficult decision to make. So we will move on. Our next item is Z24-08. And Mr. Menino, if you will get us started with that, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the second reading, so I won't go over everything we covered in the first reading. This is a proposed rezoning of approximately 78 acres from R20 to PD. Initially, at the first reading, y'all saw a plan that consisted of a single family off of Center Road and townhomes off of Overlook Parkway. Since the first reading, the actual number of single family homes has been reduced from 70 to 43 off of Center Road, and the individual lot sizes have increased to the R10 type lot size. Additionally, the layout has stayed exactly the same. With that, for the record, the property has been properly posted and advertised. There appears to be no conflicts of interest, and it was reviewed based on the adopted standards for exercise of zoning powers. Planning Commission did originally recommend denial of this application, and it was forwarded to you with that recommendation. It has changed since the first reading, and with that, I'll turn it over to the applicant, unless y'all have additional questions.
Any questions for Randy at this time? Thank you, sir. And just, again, I know we'll have a series of public hearings. Just want to remind everybody, the way that this works is we'll open up a public hearing. The applicant has an opportunity to speak first and an opportunity to speak last. And when anybody comes forward to speak, hopefully you sign the sign-up sheet that was out in the hallway. And if you would, when you step forward, if you would give your name and your address so that our clerk can accurately capture that in the minutes. The limit per speaker is
5 minutes per speaker and 10 minutes for the applicant.
Thank you. And those that were here the last time know that I've said this. My job as mayor is to make sure that we gather as much information to council so that they can make an informed decision on the task at hand. So anything that was said in the first reading is in the record. Council has that. We want to be plowing new ground. If somebody comes up and talks about issue A, having 3 people tell us about issue A doesn't really plow new ground for us. So again, this is what we're paid to do. This is what we've chosen to do and serve and hear from the public. So we're happy to do that and glad that y'all are here to participate. And with that said, I'll open up the public hearing for case Z24-08 and ask the applicant to speak forward if they so choose.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Robert Walker here for the applicant. My address is 15 South Public Square. Thank you. Glad to be here tonight. I did want to address some changes that have been made to the application. Obviously, there have been a lot of changes that have been made. This application has been pending. Respectfully, that we have made a number of changes throughout the history of this application to try to address the concerns and questions and that both the people that live near this proposed development have had, as well as the members of this body and the Planning Commission as well. So, of course, Mr. Menino mentioned the Planning Commission recommended denial, but respectfully, there has been quite a bit of water that has flowed under the bridge since that time, and these plans are significantly different than what they have reviewed. As Mr. Menino mentioned, the plan that we looked at last time, nothing has really changed on the right side of that. The townhome development is virtually the same. The left side of the plan is really what has changed. The footprint of that plan is pretty much exactly the same. What has changed is essentially two things. The size of the lots have increased fairly significantly. They are now, as Mr. Menino mentioned, essentially 10,000, they are 10,000 square feet lots, which is equivalent of R10 density. That was to address some questions and concerns that were raised at the last meeting. And as a result, the number of lots have gone down from 70 in the plan that we looked at the last meeting to now 43 single-family units because of the increase in the lot size. There's also in the cul-de-sac, in the bottom of that development there's been added an amenity area. And we've also sent and included some, you can see it's called park area, but that's an amenity area. We've also sent some renderings and photos that will show what that amenity area will look like. Conceptually, this is a sort of a rendering of an aerial drawing of what that area will look like. It will have a playground, two-stage playground area with for two different age groups, a covered pavilion area, some seating, and that kind of thing. So there was another example of that as well that would kind of show a similar type of. I think there was it? Yeah, there we go. And then so that's the change on that side. And so the thing I wanted to point out with the change in density is in the original agenda packet there was some calculations that were done by staff that compared the density of this development to the density of some of the surrounding developments on Center Road. And there was a table that was included in that packet. And in fact, it showed that the density of this development was 2.3 lots per acre, or units per acre, and that was very comparable, if not less density than a number of the other developments in the area on Center Road. When I went through, because I wasn't sure that staff had done that based on these recent changes, I went through and did the calculations based off of the reduced lots. There were 183 lots with the 70 single-family homes. There's now 156 total lots when you reduce the lots to 43. And so now the density, the lots per acre is 1.97. And so that's actually, the density per acre is now actually less than anything else on Center Road. Anything. It's less than the Merrill Townhome development. It's less than Everton Estates. It's less than Autumn Canyon. It's less than Hamilton Township. Hamilton Township's been there for 25 years. It's less density per acre than Hamilton Township. It's less than Ponders Mountain. And so I think that's worth noting. So we've gone through this process and we've reduced the number of lots at this point now to what is essentially about at this point, let me see, Notes here. 35% of the total number of units. This is the third change, or fourth change, actually, the fourth iteration of our plan at this point. It's about a 35% reduction in the total number of units. And we've also made a number of other changes. Like I said, we've added these amenity areas. We've increased the lot sizes. And so if there's any questions that anybody has, I'd be happy to address those. The property owner is here, as is a representative from the developer, Ashton Woods, Starlight Homes. And the other thing that I wanted to point out when it comes to density, which I know has been a big question that a lot of folks has had, is, you know, we talk about number of units per acre, but I think about it in lot size. And I got on Q Public today and I went and I looked around, and these lots are 10,000 square feet lots. And so, you know, there's 43,560 square feet an acre. So 10,000 square feet is approximately 25, or is approximately a quarter of an acre. When you go to Autumn Canyon, most of those lot sizes are 0.18 to 0.2 acres. That's 7,800 to 8,000 square feet. So the lots we're going to be building are bigger than those lots. When you go to Carriage Hills, most of the lots in there are from 0.08 to 0.14 acres. That's 3,500 to 6,000 square foot lots. So what we're building is nearly twice the size of the lots there. Hamilton Township, those lots are, the majority of them are quarter acre lots. So what we're building is pretty much the exact same size of those lots. Again, those homes, most of those were built in 2000, 2001. Ponders Mountain, most of those lots are 0.18 to 0.25 in size, essentially smaller or the same size as what we're proposing to build here now with these 10,000 square feet homes. And then of course you got Satterfield Commons, Everton Estates, and Merrill Townhomes. Those are all townhome developments. And so and the reason that's important is because there are standards that govern the decision you all have to make that's contained in your ordinance. And one of those things is you have to look at the existing land uses and zoning classifications of nearby property. And what we're asking for is certainly consistent with the existing land uses and the classifications of nearby property. Our property is not, doesn't have any economic use. It's currently zoned as R20. We cannot, in today's economy, in today's market, we cannot build a product on that property as R20. And so we would ask for that property to be rezoned in the manner that we've requested. And again, if you have any questions, be happy to address those. There was maybe somebody who raised a question at some point about amenities on the townhome side. There is some amenities there. The picture that was showed in the work session.
Mr. Walker, your 10 minutes is up. I'm going to help you because I'm going to ask, this was the question I was waiting to ask because we haven't even talked about the other side yet. So I think this is where you're going, but I'm going to ask the question because I want to know it, not because I want to give you more time. But the amenity package on the townhome side.
Yeah, so that's it. That's it there. If we go back to the site plan, just so I can point out where it is, that dot right there is where that amenity package would be. So if I can walk to the screen, right here is where you would actually go in. This is a gated entry. It says gated entry here. So you would come in and you would come through a gate, and this area here would be the location of this amenity area. And if you go back to the picture now, you see this parking lot here. That's this parking lot. And so this is the amenity area, and so you can see that it will have, because it's a townhome community, it's a slightly different type of amenity package. They proposed putting in a bocce ball court and a covered area with a fireplace, a pavilion with an outdoor fireplace, some seating, walking areas. That covered area by the parking area is a mailbox kiosk. There's benches. That area around the bocce ball court is actually synthetic turf, sort of a lawn area with synthetic turf. There's a covered trellis there on the end, at the far end of the bocce ball court. Of course, it's landscaped, as you can see. And then if you go back to the overall, Mr. Hargrave, if you go back to the overall site plan, you can see there's what looks like kind of a road that goes off the northeast end. That's actually a walking trail that they propose to put in, a hiking trail that is, and I scaled it roughly based off the site plan. I think it's somewhere around a half of a mile that they propose to put in that the residents could use. And if you see, it actually goes all the way to the single family development. And so both developments would be able to use that actually, and it would go in and it would be a sort of an additional amenity that both developments would be able to use as a walking or hiking trail.
Is that also the cell tower road?
I don't know, is that?
Okay, thank you.
So.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Walker? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll continue the public hearing for Z24-08. Anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against may do so at this time.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Jay Harold. I live at 35 Hidden Valley Lane here in Cartersville. I'd first like to start out and just read a list. I've got Huntwood Terrace, Stonebridge, Hamilton Township, Carriage Hills, Satterfield Commons, Autumn Canyon, Ponders Mountain, and then in the county you have McCaskey Ridge, and then there's another new one, Fairley. I think it's Fairley is what it's called. And that doesn't count the new one across the street from Autumn Ridge. The reason I read that list is these are all apartments or subdivisions that are built on Center Road without really any improvements to Center Road. We just keep adding more buildings out there. We need to do something with the infrastructure. I've had the opportunity to work all over the United States. That may be good or bad, depending on who you are. But one of the most common problems that I've seen is infrastructures for cities. And by us continually approving further construction without doing something, it doesn't allow the infrastructure to be cheaper, it just gets more expensive. So my position is I don't care about the new subdivision necessarily that's wanting to be built there. It really, the number, the quantity of the units in that subdivision, the size of the lots really is insignificant. We need to do something to Center Road. It's been paved, it's a faster road, and I think most of us have driven Center Road going to the lake or coming back when we were teenagers, going to the lake and coming back. Boats go out there, bass boat, people pulling bass boats every day. Traffic from 75 is routed onto Center Road from ways when there's backups. We just need to do something about Center Road, all right? City of Cartersville, we also have an infrastructure problem here, which is evidenced by the water department only being able to pump to 1,050 feet, which has put some restrictions on this, where they want to build this, pardon me for saying subdivision, but this housing addition and the townhomes. So I just wanted to come up and speak and say I can't be in favor of this. It wouldn't really matter who was up there. up here speaking, and if they're building the Taj Mahal, really is not significant until we do something about the infrastructure going out that way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll continue on with Z24-08. Again, anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against may do so at this time. And seeing none, I'll ask the applicant if they've got any closing remarks or rebuttal.
The only other thing I would add is just in terms of density, I will tell you that the only other property I can liken this to that maybe you guys can think about as you're making your decision is this property is also essentially the same, this product will be essentially the same size as not Carter Grove, but Grove Park. This is the lots in Grove Park are actually smaller than what we're proposing to build here. That's a very nice, prominent neighborhood here with that people in this community flock to, and this is the kind of the lots we're proposing to build here. There's 153 lots in Grove Park. We're proposing to build 43, and you know, I would ask you to think about that when you're making your decision. I think this will be, like I say, a similar product, and in terms of the size of the homes, actually the lots will be a little bit bigger. So if you'll, we would ask you please consider approving this, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Sure. Mr. Walker.
For Mr. Walker. Since you brought up Grove Park, bear with me for a second. So Grove Park is what is it zoned as?
I don't know what it's zoned as, but the size of the lots, I mean, I was again just looking at size of the lots.
Yeah, so Grove Park is PD, right?
Which is what we're asking here, yeah.
Right. So when you look at the definition of PD in the zoning, in the ordinance, right? There's a lot of other stuff in there besides housing product. I can read it for you. I'm not going to read it for you. But it has to deal with neighborhood, retail, services, offices, use, open space, so on and so forth. So I mean, we could go and ask for it to be zoned R10, split the property and do it that way. I appreciate your moving what you've done, so I do appreciate that. But I think, I know it's PD, probably doesn't meet the definition. I'm okay with it, but because I really do appreciate the way that you have moved the lot size. That speaks a lot, and added those amenities. I really appreciate you listening to that. So kudos to your client for really making those efforts. So, but PD, for future reference to anybody else sitting out there, we don't set precedent, but this really stretches to meet that mark on it. But when you look at the definition, and since you brought up Grove Park, that subdivision has a restaurant, a spa, a doctor's office, a dentist, planned into that development. So that's probably one of the differences that I would just say, since you brought that development up in comparison to this. But I do really greatly appreciate the movement on the lot size. I think that speaks very well of what we want to see in the quality of life and lot size, and as we move away, as we're changing this from R20, right? R20 is, you're looking at almost 0.45 of an acre. I mean, that's a really big lot size. That's the biggest we have as lot size goes in our zoning. So when you go from R20 and we're changing that, I think R10 you know, R15 is a good compromise, but I appreciate you, appreciate your client working to see that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll now turn it over to council for discussion about not just the housing portion, but the townhome portion. And Mr. Menino, refresh my memory on the townhome portion about any conditions relative to rental versus ownership.
I believe they're willing to do 10% maximum.
Was that a condition? I'm trying to,
For, I can't remember if we had that discussion or not.
okay.
On several of the most recent residential developments that y'all have approved, y'all have put a maximum of 10% rental on them.
Okay.
And I think it was discussed with the planning commission also, even though planning commission didn't.
And I'll be unfair and ask you this as well. Ms. Drake, you have something?
I would like to add that it was discussed by the Starlight Homes representative, Mr. Briscoe, at the last meeting, that they were in agreement with a 10% rental cap.
Okay. Mr. Menino, again, another unfair question. The area for amenities in this development, would you say it's about the same size relative to other developments, a little bit more, a little bit less?
A lot of the townhome developments we have don't necessarily have a lot of amenities because they have open space and trails and their individual lots. But this is adjacent to two multifamily developments. There are two apartment complexes who both have a swimming pool and clubhouse included as part of their internal amenities.
Okay.
Yeah, this is townhome development. a little bit.
Yep. All right, thank you. All right, council, you have before you a full PD that has both townhomes and residential. And any discussion?
Motion? So
An
that's
emotion-
not, what Julia just read out is not in it. It needs to be made in it if that was.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve with the 10%.
Rental cap on the townhome side.
Thank you.
And the residential side.
Would you amend that to say and the
Yeah,
residential
And the
side?
residential side, that's fine.
Second.
So I've got a motion to second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion carries. We'll move on to AZ 25-02. Randy, if you'll get us started on that, please, sir.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. This next request is actually an annexation with a request for a R7 zoning district. It's approximately 40 acres surrounded by Parkside at Carter Grove. On the east side of the development, on the north side of it is Carter Grove, and on the west side, I think I got that reversed, on the west side is Parkside at Carter Grove, and on the east side is the Switch Technology District. We went over a lot of the specifics during the first reading. What has changed since the first reading, I believe the applicant now has an amenities agreement with the adjacent development, which was not in place or was not taken care of during the first reading. And with that, I know there was discussion between an R7 and an R10 lot. But the actual request on the table is for R7 with the 20% open space, and utilizing their layout, they would agree to conceptually that particular layout with the open space mostly around the exterior of the development.
Okay,
With
thank
that, the
you.
applicant is present.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions for Mr. Menino at this point? Thank you, sir. And just as a reminder, the process that we go through, there's actually going to be 2 public hearings and then 2 separate votes. The first hearing is relative to the zoning of this property. Okay? Anything you say in the zoning portion will also be included in the records of the annexation. And if I'm going to step out on a limb here and think most of the folks here tonight of interest are more concerned about the zoning part, so that's the part that we're handling first, just because that's the order of things we go in. So this will be relative to the zoning portion of the request AZ 25-02. And I'll open up the public hearing, and now it's time for the applicant to speak. And again, the applicant gets 10 minutes at the front. They get final word. Those speaking get 5 minutes, or a maximum of 5 minutes.
Good evening. Brandon Bowen, 15 South Public Square, Cartersville, Georgia. Thank you all for having us here tonight. So I want to begin with talking a little bit about R7 and R10, because I know you all have a pretty good familiarity with this project. First, let me just say, 30,000 foot, the goal is to do more of what is already being done at Parkside, at Carter Grove, which is the property that's directly to the west or the left on that diagram. That project was approved several years ago, and it was already part of Carter Grove at that time, so it did not have to be annexed, and there was no question about whether or not it was going to be part of the Carter Grove neighborhood. This property is not part of Carter Grove, and it was not in the city, so we're having to annex it in order to do this development. Now, at the time, that area to the left was approved as R10 with administrative variances to 65-foot lot widths. That's what we wish to build here. The problem is that there have been some changes in the zoning procedures law, which led to changes in the zoning ordinance, and we can't ask you, or at least when I filed this application, I could not ask you to do R10 with those covenants or with that variance. Instead, we would have had to go get our R10 and then go to the Board of Zoning Appeals and ask for a variance. So instead, our idea was, well, let's ask for R7, which is a little bit denser, but then we'll condition it to what we're looking to do under the R10. So it'll be the same thing. But that seems to have raised some concerns with some folks about the R7. We, 4-Star, does not care whether it's R7 or R10. It literally yields the same lot yield. We're happy to go with R10 because, and I think Mr. Lovell will confirm this, there's been another change to the zoning procedures law which now says you can grant that concurrent variance. So that the problem that led to this in the first place doesn't exist anymore. So, you know, if you feel more comfortable with R10 because it is exactly what is next door, that's fine. We would just ask that you grant the concurrent variance to 65-foot lot width, which is what was done for Parkside. That said, I think there's good, smart reasons to approve R7 as we have proposed, and I will tell you what that is. But before I do, let me say, you know, this is the third public hearing. There's been a lot of folks that come out. We heard what they said. We met with the HOA board at Carter Grove, and I want to commend them. They have by no means been pushovers, but they have been very respectful and polite in meeting with us and willing to try to work this situation out. And I would also say, to be clear, number one goal for 4-Star would be to get into Carter Grove and be part of Carter Grove, but it's not something that we have the right to demand. We'd have to negotiate it for it. And earlier on, it did not look like it was going to be possible, but in the last few days, we have accomplished that. And Mr. Menino told you there was an amenities agreement, but that's not quite right. It is actually an agreement for this property to be annexed into Carter Grove and to be fully incorporated into Carter Grove. So it will be Carter Grove. It'll be, currently there's Parkside at Carter Grove, which is the area to the west, which is part of Carter Grove. This will be just another phase of Parkside at Carter Grove. Okay, so what does that mean? That means it will be subject to the existing Carter Grove covenants. It will be subject to the rules of the HOA board, just like every other lot is out there. It will be subject to Carter Grove's architectural standards. You know, the goal is, and what this provides is the houses that you see out there will look just like the houses, same plan, same design, structure, all of that for Parkside at Carter Grove. In addition, obviously the number one concern we've heard is concern about amenities in Carter Grove, concern about people who are not part of Carter Grove stealing in and making use of those amenities. Well, people who live out here will be residents of Carter Grove, will have the right to use it, and the agreement provides for a very substantial contribution to the HOA on a per lot basis when the final plat is approved and we know exactly how many lots we're talking about. So that will provide very substantially for the amenities in Carter Grove. And that money will be used as the board determines it's best to support the amenities of Carter Grove. It also provides for monuments that we'll have to work out for Parkside at Carter Grove, and we'll have to work with the staff at the development phase for that, but that's something we agreed to as well. I believe the board is here. I believe they'll speak. I believe they will speak in favor of the R7. And the only reason for doing the R7, as we discussed, rather than R10, at this point, now that we've got an agreement to come into Carter Grove, would be that we have heard people who live adjacent to it concerned about having development right behind them. They enjoy the forestry that's behind them now. The green space requirement under R7, which is not under R10, would provide a buffer around the exterior, and that buffer is between 40 and 60 feet wide. I would never recommend that you require a bufferment between like uses, and this would not be a buffer technically, but practically it would be. It'd be a green space around the outside. We're happy to do that. We think that's probably the cleanest way, since that's the way the application was filed, but if you feel strongly about the R10, that's fine too. What is not fine, and I have to say this, we've got properties there surrounding us at 10,000 or less square foot on the west. The ones along the north are around 1,200 to 1,500. Asking this development, this property, to be at a higher standard or larger standard, it's just not fair. We can talk legalese, but it's just not fair to ask somebody to do something different from what you've allowed the others. And let's not forget that what is right now woods to the right, that's Switch. You all were here with me. That was supposed to be another 2,000 homes, including townhomes, that had been removed from our map by Switch. This is around 100 homes that we're bringing back on that 40 acres. So this is a good plan. It's consistent with what's out there. This will just be an extension of Carter Grove. It's consistent with the comp plan, which calls for neo-traditional neighborhoods. Staff supports it because it makes sense. And we're happy that we've been able to work something out with the HOA board to make this a win-win for everybody. And I would just ask that you approve it. And if you've got any other questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Yeah, I've got a question, because issue number 2 that was brought up, and that I haven't heard you discuss it, is traffic. And I know that in looking at the comments from staff from our public works relative to the traffic study that was done, it didn't really account for the left turning traffic into that subdivision. And I'm wondering if you've made any progress on that, or if
we've talked to the traffic engineer. He does not believe it's necessary because of the low traffic.
Our traffic engineer doesn't?
Well, no, I have not talked to him. We've talked to the traffic engineer who did our study. Doesn't believe it's necessary.
That's shocking.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Look, that's something that we have to deal with in the design process, and ultimately, if the city's engineer says it's got to be there, I think it's going to have to be there. I will say this. I've looked around. I'm familiar with Carter Grove. We don't have those lanes at other turns at Carter Grove. So it's kind of hard to imagine why we would have it there, particularly at a full intersection there.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Bowen?
I think that the R7, like if you go back to the ordinance, what R7 is about, it plainly states that it's for downtown business district is really what it was formed for. I think when you start going down to, a 7,000 square foot lot, and you start zoning it R7, I think it's a little rich for this neighborhood, I think.
And I don't disagree with that, but even at the R7, we propose a condition that the minimum lot size be 8,500, which is, and again, if you feel strongly about R10, that's fine. We're okay with that.
Well, I feel really strong about R15 since you opened it up. I feel really strong about R15.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the other lots in the PD, which Carter Grove is part of the portion that's next to it is PD, and they've chosen to go to R15 predominantly. Probably smaller lots are R15. So I just think that to say that, you know, well, you let R10 over here and you won't let us do R10, I think that's just a change in, I think when you start looking at the product and the amount of product out there, and you look at the amount of R10, and you look at the amount of R20, and you look at the PD, you know, as we see R20 going away, and, you know, and we have this PD, we have this opportunity to not let the lots go to R7, which is not, that size lot is not appropriate for this area. I mean, you're talking about 3 and 4 bedroom homes on an R7 lot. And I know you're saying, well, we're gonna go to 8,500, but when you approve the R7, we know what has happened in the past. And we'll have to condition that then too. But I'm just saying that when you start looking at it, I think when you look at the quality of product that I think that we need to get back to, especially in this area, I think we need to look at these lot sizes. I do appreciate though the work you've done in getting the amenities. I think that's a huge thing, and doing that work. I think that's really a great move in that direction. But I think I stated it before that I still would like to see the lot size larger, and I understand how that works for your developers. But I do think, I mean, to say that's unfair, I don't think that it's unfair. I think it's just a personal opinion, you know, that we can agree to disagree on.
Look, I will tell you, I mean, I live on a lot that's just about an acre, and I'm happy with my lot, okay? But I'm not everybody.
Right.
Some people would not like the fact that I've got to ride a mower for a while every week, you know? And my wife certainly does not like the fact that there's a large portion of it that I don't maintain very well. To each their own.
Yeah.
What I will tell you, if you look back historically, I mean, look at some of the lots in downtown that are very, very small. There have been times when lots were commonly very small. Right now, that's just kind of what the market is, you know?
Because R7 was for downtown.
Yeah.
You know, downtown business. I mean, you look at ATCO is R7. Not
Yeah.
small.
Well, again, I mean, our plan here was not to rejigger how the, you know, city does everything. We were just trying to find a way to avoid having to go through multiple bodies. If you feel like an R10 is the way to avoid this, I mean, the only reason we're sticking with the R7 is because there are folks that wanted a buffer.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
If I may, just a
Sure.
couple clarification points. We don't really have any conditions listed in the application. So from what you said, as I understand it, the applicant is proposing a condition of, was it 8,500 square foot lots?
That's correct. And also, we just discussed it a moment ago, not addressed it before, but based on comments I heard earlier about concerns about houses being closer, we could also condition it to the side lots that are in R10, which is 10 foot.
10-foot side lot. So that would be basically 20 foot between
Correct.
houses, 10 feet on each side. Okay. And then I guess your third condition is the submission of the HOA agreement or whatever it's referred to as.
So.
Or an amenity package, whichever.
Yes. I mean, our 100% plan is to come into the HOA. It's just, things happen.
Oh, I understand.
Things that could be out of our control happen
Right,
sometimes,
yeah. So you would
Can that be a condition?
So your proposal would be for, at least one condition would be R7 with 8,500 minimum square foot lots. Minimum separation of 20 feet between the building or 10-foot side yard setbacks. And then as a third condition, I just want to know if this is y'all are proposing or if it's something council may need to talk about, either to present to staff before building permits or land disturbance permits are issued, a agreement to go into the Carter Grove HOA, or to provide an amenity package as part of your development.
Yeah, one that would be customary to a neighborhood of this size.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that
so
would be.
those three conditions you are fine with as part of your proposal?
Yes, we are.
Thank
Do
you.
they have rental caps out at Carter Grove?
So that's interesting you say that. The plan is for these to be built by D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton does not do, they do fee simple. This will all be fee simple. My understanding, the board members are here, they may want to speak to this directly, is that they are looking to put that into the Carter Grove HOA covenants, and we will support that if they do so.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Bowen? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Once again, we're going to open up, this is a public hearing for the zoning portion of AZ 25-02, and ask anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against to do so at this time.
My name is Ron Allison. I live at 17 Greystone Way. At this meeting tonight and at a previous meeting concerning zoning for the 4-star development, the developer's attorney has said something to the effect that the density they were requesting simply matched what had been approved already in the nearby Parkside community. And that's true, but there's a difference. The Parkside community, with its higher density R7 zoning, is set apart from the closest house in the Carter's Grove subdivision by 300 yards along Belmont Drive. That's where the amenities are located. There is no place where the two building densities are face to face. To carry it to the extreme, if only one side of Greystone Way currently had houses, and those houses were built under the lower density required by the Carter's Grove subdivision, and if a developer was requesting to build R7 zoning on the opposite side of the street, I would hope that this panel would deny that to preserve the property values of the houses that are built less dense. But for those of us who own homes on Greystone Way that are going to share a border with the 4-star development, the situation is exactly the same, except high-density housing will be seen by us and by prospective buyers of our houses when we look out the windows facing the backyards instead of the front yards. I'm not against building. The day our home was built, someone was probably unhappy that a house was going up on the vacant lot across the street. I only ask that the zoning for the proposed homes that border Greystone Way be done in a way that will not cause our home values to fall.
Thank you. Do you have a strategy or a thought or a preference as to how that would happen?
The only thing that would help us on Greystone is a lower density on that north side that's going to be facing our homes. I'm new to this.
I understand.
I think our homes were built at R20. No?
They're in PD.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
They're in PD, but those lot sizes are R15. Roughly.
Okay,
They're
okay.
About 0.34 of an acre.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, a match would.
So the conversation that we had earlier relative to the R7 which requires a buffer versus R10 that does not require a buffer, any thought or feeling on what your preference might be for that?
I don't feel like the buffer's going to do a lot of good. I mean, the houses are on the uphill side of us. We're gonna see them even if there's a 40-foot buffer.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on the zoning portion of AZ 25-02?
Oh, yeah, 3 of them. 4.
It's a race to the top.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Brian Porter. I'm at 20 Grove Point Way, Cartersville, Georgia, 30120. Currently serve on the ad hoc board of directors as the president.
Hi, I'm Kate Parazzo. I live at 10 Canterbury Walk, Southeast Cartersville, and I'm the vice president.
I'm Ashley Conlin, and I live at 18 Creekview Drive, Southeast, and I'm the secretary.
I'm Jeremy Austin. I live at 6 Canterbury Walk, Southeast, and I'm the treasurer.
Thank you for the opportunity to allow us to speak. On behalf of the Carter Grove Ad Hoc Board of Directors, we actually are pleased to share that we have been in conversation and reached an agreement with 4 Stars, the developer, for the new Wilson Pass. And we would like to have Wilson Pass incorporated into the Carter Grove HOA. Part of that agreement does include 2 different options. The first option being a contribution per lot. The second contribution also being a reduced financial contribution with a potential for land allocated and an amenity cost to build those amenities to be decided at a final plat approval. Also in that discussion, as Brandon had mentioned, a monument to separate Carter Grove at Parkside and Carter Grove, as well as Wilson Pass. And we did talk about the 10% rental cap. Based on our understanding as well, that's part of the incorporation into the HOA as Carter Grove Plantation HOA transitions over to POA, which we do foresee happening within 2 years prior to the final development of Wilson Pass.
So you're saying that's already in place in the existing?
It's been under discussion with the declarant, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. So our goal has been and always continue to be will to ensure a responsible and beneficial integration into the Carter Grove HOA. So as on behalf of the HOA, we fully support this agreement, and we ask that the City Council or Mayor that you consider the HOA position during your review and approval process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
I just want to add, if you will please make sure that you sign in so I get the spellings of all of your names.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
I think we did.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Continuing on with the zoning hearing for AZ 25-02. Anyone else wishing to step forward to speak for or against?
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Elizabeth Whitfield. I'm at 208 Belmont Drive. I missed the prior hearing, so I apologize if I repeat anything that was already said. I'm concerned about especially the ingress and egress points. We only have 2 in the entire neighborhood. I frankly am curious how it got approved that way to begin with. We have Cartersville Elementary School in our subdivision. It may not be exactly in there, but it's within the entrance. Y'all are familiar with it. We have the fire department, which is great in one way, but bad in another way. The traffic already is horrendous during school, particularly. If you go out there in the mornings or in the afternoons, you're going to have a hard time getting in and out. So I don't know if that's been discussed. I know that I was going to ask if there's been a traffic analysis, and it sounds like there has, or one is ongoing right now. But it looks like it's going to be approved. It sounds like what you said. Maybe I misunderstood that.
The developer typically has to do a traffic study, and it's reviewed by the city staff, and they make recommendations. But then when, correct me when I step out of line, either Keith or Randy or David, but when they submit the plans, the city engineer and our public works will take a look, and if there are some traffic modifications that need to be made based on the traffic levels, and they'll be required to make those changes.
Okay. It would shock me if that analysis actually showed that it was sufficient with the current ingress and egress points. I hope it doesn't. And so I hope that if this is approved, that there will have to be some improvements in that area. Not that what I hope is really all that relevant here, but everybody else has spoken to the zoning 7, 10, 15, 20, I think. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse on that one. The council sent an email yesterday about this agreement that they've reached with Four Star. Sorry.
You mean the developer sent that, or your HOA board did?
HOA.
Okay, thank
Sorry.
you. Yeah, that's okay.
Did I say the developer?
It's all right.
So we're just hearing of that as residents. I'm not sure exactly what the agreement is when they say there's a substantial contribution, if that means one contribution and then it's done, or if it means a big contribution and then the residents there would have to make ongoing contributions as the rest of us do. So again, not sure that that's relevant to your decision here, but I would just say that although the board may have reached a handshake agreement, I think there's still some questions outstanding that we have on that, which may or may not affect your decision.
Yeah, the agreement between the developer and the HOA is outside of our,
Yeah.
it's two independent parties. Again, what was important for us as a council to consider was an amenity package of some sort for the amount of housing, development of that size. So.
Okay, and that's important to your decision here.
It may be or may not be.
Okay. I'm just curious why it was talked about.
I think the standard, again, when you're talking about a subdivision, is of that amount of homes. Again, if they were on an island somewhere and you've got several homes, several families living in there, you'd want it for quality of life purposes. You would want to make sure there were some amenities for kids and families and a gathering place. And so,
sure.
At the last hearing, that was a big part of the discussion. And so, it appears that those two independent parties have come to an agreement and shared that information with us, which I think everybody on council would find at least helpful.
That's why I mentioned it, just to say that although you got an update from the HOA, our HOA.
Well, and this happened within the last 24 to 48 hours.
Right, exactly. So we haven't had a chance to look at that either. But I also want to say I appreciate the questions and comments you all had. You've basically stolen any thunder I may or may not have had, because what you said and what you asked were completely on point with our concerns. So I just think that we need to seriously consider whether this makes sense traffic-wise and whether it even follows the zoning requirements of the city, which, as I understand it, are stricter than what we actually have now. So anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ma'am?
Yes.
The traffic study that they submitted is part of the public record, and if you would like to, you can contact the city's Planning and Development Department, and they'll be happy to email you a copy of that.
I plan to.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on AZ 25-02 relative to the zoning may do so at this time.
Mayor, board members, Edwin Hamilton. I live at 6 Autumnwood Drive. Just wanted to hit a couple things. I know there's not much I can do about the development happening in there, but for the traffic analysis, if they do another one with this, I just would like to request that it's done in the morning during school drop-off. Usually it takes my wife about 30 minutes to get out of the neighborhood sometimes with the amount of traffic that's in there. And then as far as the entryway into the development right there, Belmont, and when you turn onto it, it does have the median. It is wider there, and then it shrinks as it gets close to our pool. So then at that point, it's just a simple 2-lane road right there. And street parking has gotten pretty bad in the Parkside area, so that's something to take into consideration.
Yeah, the challenge with that, and we've had other folks that have spoken at different developments, it's a public road, and so even HOAs can say, hey, don't park in the road.
Sure.
But they can't tow them. It really has no teeth because the city allows for street parking. So it kind of depends on people to be good neighbors.
I just don't want it to get so,
listen, I'm trying to get out of that golf course, and I got to slow down because everybody's parked in the street, so I feel you on that one.
So you understand
absolutely.
how it gets back there.
Yeah.
So as far as the entryway, if they have to put a turning lane in or something like that, that might be something to highly consider.
Thank you. And again, our engineers will take a look at that study, and they'll also look at the final plat and make a determination if there's any traffic modifications that need to be made
All right.
at that intersection, so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What was your name, sir?
Edwin Hamilton.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak on AZ 25-02, the zoning portion, may do so at this time. And seeing none, I will close the public hearing, but give the applicant an opportunity to make a final closing statement if they so choose.
Just briefly to address traffic concerns and the traffic study, we did submit a traffic study, and it was done when school was in session to catch that traffic flow as is required for responsible traffic engineers. Probably everybody in the room knows that right now, Old Alabama and Douthit Ferry is terrible because it's under construction and it's got lanes diverted and all kind of stuff. I have to drive through it every day, just like most of you do. But that's all scheduled to be complete before this project will come online. So that's not
Really? Are you telling us Douthit Ferry is going to be done by then? Because that's great news to me.
I promise.
Okay.
I guarantee.
Great. Great.
No,
yeah.
it is scheduled and they are hard at
You
work.
control the state and the feds on that
Yeah.
one. That's good.
Yes.
But you're speaking relatively more to Old Alabama.
That's
in that
right.
regard,
That's
yeah.
right. So, but again, the whole R7, R10. If anyone on council has a strong feeling about that, then we really don't care if it's R7 or R10. You understand? We're just trying to do the same thing. We think that's appropriate. It's fair to the owner to be able to allow him to sell his property at this density since the neighboring properties have done it. It's a professional design. It carries on. We have worked out a great deal for all sides with the HOA. This is going to be a good thing, and we just ask you support it, along with the conditions that I spoke with Mr. Lovell about.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Bowen? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor, since it was brought up, I just thought I'd bring to y'all's attention on page 169 and 170 of y'all's package is where the traffic study states what day it was done and the times, and that was on a Thursday, May 8th of 2025. They did it 2 times that day, one period from 7 a.m. to 8:45, and then a second period from 4 to 5:45 p.m.
You thought you were helping things out, but when did the school year end?
I make no comment on when school's in session or not. I don't know that answer.
It was a holiday.
May have been, I have no idea.
I probably say I no longer have a kid in the system, but I think that was after school was out. But again, regardless, not to totally discredit the traffic count, again, when our city engineers look at it, they'll make a determination if traffic improvements are.
Last day of school was like May 20th.
Was it May 20th?
Well, Barrett graduated, but I can't remember, and I'm glad Aaron can't hear.
I can tell you the date. I thought it was valedictorian. May 23rd was when.
I was what I was going to say.
All right. Well, like I said, I don't have a kid in the system anymore. So that's good. And congratulations to your daughter. Glad you got an opportunity to brag on that. Unsolicited, by the way. Should call you out of order for speaking out during a council meeting.
Is there room for?
I'm going to make an exception. I'm going to reopen this. If you have a question, you can come up here and ask it. I'm going to reopen the public hearing because you're here and you want to speak. And again, your name and your address.
Roger Hamilton, 4 Rock Ridge Court. How many homes does this bring us up to in the neighborhood? I'm trying to remember. I think it's 867 is the absolute number. And that's the concern that I have as we're going into this. My wife teaches at North Cobb Christian in Kennesaw. My kids go to school there. So, we're trying to leave the neighborhood at a specific time. I think her number is 7:04 a.m. If we don't leave the house at that point, we're screwed for the day, If we're looking at adding additional homes into there, what does that do to the traffic in the morning? Because that's the big thing for us. Yes, the left turn coming into the neighborhood in the afternoon can be atrocious, but leaving the neighborhood, we're fighting with school buses on who gets that lane right now for the right lane just to cross over Old Alabama to get over on the other side. And I don't know if that's going to change, and I would like to ask, oh gosh, it's nervous standing up here, but if we're looking at putting, I don't know what the requirements are for the certain amount of homes into a neighborhood with only one true entrance and exit into the neighborhood. If we have another community that's coming in, what does that look like for the party that's coming in, Four Star coming in, to actually afford putting that in before they start building homes?
So, I don't know if I speak directly to that. I will say, and again, Randy, you know to correct me when I say something wrong, the original development for Carter Grove was 3,500 homes.
Okay.
When we approved the Switch project, some of that, quite frankly, was intentional by this council to try to limit some of the growth.
Mhm.
We took about 2,000 single-family homes out of that particular area. I think, Keith, the original plan for Carter Grove was always to have those two entrances, I do believe, or maybe there was going to be some, if it's built out on the bottom end, to have some spill out into Paulding County. But Bates Road, there was going to be three. I'm seeing somebody. Thank you.
Bates Road.
Sweet Mountain.
Yeah.
And they were all tied to certain development quotas being reached in Carter Grove, and due to y'all's switch rezoning, they'll never reach those development quotas that they will need those additional entrances for.
Yeah, more than 200 requires two entrances, and they've met that requirement.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Interesting. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And again, you have anything to add? Are you good? Okay. So I'm going to close that public hearing. And again, I know that doesn't necessarily go by Robert's Rules of Order, but when people show up and want to address the city, I feel we're obligated to do that. So I'm going to close that public hearing to the zoning portion of the request, and I will open up a public hearing for the annexation portion of the request, AZ 25-02, keeping in mind everything that was said before is also part of this. And I don't know if the applicant has anything to say or add.
Everything I just said.
Thank you. And so anybody that would like to speak to the annexation portion of this request may step forward and do so at this time. And seeing none, I will close the public hearing for the annexation portion of AZ 25-02. And I will turn this over to council for further discussion, questions, or consideration.
With the help of my attorney,
He's all of ours, and I think he's probably going to want to distance himself from that here in a minute. But go ahead.
part of this motion has a setback, a foot. I make a motion to approve with three, requirements, conditions. R7 with a minimum of 8,500 square foot lot is the first condition. Second condition is 10-foot side yard setbacks. And then last is the homeowner's agreement.
The amenities
Or
part.
a comparable amenities package for that type, size neighborhood.
Can you write that fast, Julia?
I'm on it.
Okay.
I will note for the record, Carter Grove to the north has a 5-foot side yard setback.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Is it required that we add the 10% rental cap?
If you wish it to be part of it, you can, but I believe what the applicant told you is that if they enter the Carter Grove homeowners associations, they would be covered by Carter Grove's homeowners covenants, which currently, and when those covenants went into effect, rental caps weren't something that was discussed by homeowners associations. So they do not have that in there. So if y'all put that requirement in there, then that would prohibit them from entering with Carter Grove's homeowners association and sharing those amenities unless Carter Grove amended their homeowners association agreements down the road.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion carries 5-1. We will plod on. Everybody's welcome to sit around for the speed round, but if not, oh, I'm sorry, hold on a second, but wait, there's more. That was
Motion on the annexation.
That was the motion on the annexation portion.
We do have to have a motion on the zoning portion as well.
And so now Chair will entertain a motion on the zoning portion of the request.
Motion to approve exactly the same as I said originally,
Second.
with the help of Keith.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that. Still new at this. We'll give you all a few moments to clear out. Keep in mind, the noise out there travels in here, and there's stairs that are just beyond the elevator if you don't want to wait for the world's slowest elevator.
The annexation.
We technically did both of them with that.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's, yeah. Council, while we're waiting for those members to clear out, Chair will entertain a motion to add 2 items to the agenda.
So moved.
I've got a motion and I got a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And we have 2 items added to the agenda. Mr. Wilson, get us started off with Mission Roads Improvement Project.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Public Works recommends approval of the local letting approval form with the Georgia Department of Transportation for the Mission Road TAP project.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Thank y'all for getting this on the front burner. I appreciate it.
Continue moving forward.
Yep,
continue moving
Is that
forward.
in the form of a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Forsyth, you've got the next handful, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item is the annual EPD Drinking Water Lab invoice. This is as I said, an annual invoice for all the primary drinking water standards testing. The fee is based on population of Cartersville. It's been the same since I've been here. $10,120. Recommended for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Yes, so the next item is a master plan development for both water and sewer. This is a requirement of the Metropolitan North Georgia Water Planning District. Stantec Consulting has performed all the preliminary work to actually develop the plan. As $324,931.42 is a budgeted item recommended for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Continue on, Sidney,
Yes, so
please.
the next item is an equipment wash bay for the water department to be installed at the covered storage outside of our new office, our distribution collection office. Graham Commercial Contractors quote of $60,900. This is a budget item recommended for your approval.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
The clarifier bypass pumping to install influent gates on the secondary clarifiers at the wastewater plant. We have to temporarily bypass those facilities with diesel-powered pumps at 15 million gallons per day. Xylem, which is a local vendor here, has proposed a not-to-exceed price of $17,275.82. It's recommended for your approval.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve. Second. Good.
I got it.
I'm glad you do. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Last one for you, Sidney.
Yes, sir. The clarifier gate replacement, it's the same project. The labor on that project will be by Southern Machine and Fabrication, a submitted quote of $18,500. Also a budgeted maintenance item recommended for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Pushing the edge there. Mr. McKee, thank you for being ready.
Yes, sir. The first one is a request to purchase 15,000 feet of Okanite underground cable for $243,450.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, yeah, you got me with it. Thank you for the efficiency of that. You caught me off guard.
Absolutely. And the second is a request to purchase two 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500s, state contract pricing to replace two existing vehicles. The total amount with not to exceed for associated upfitting is $114,000 that we're requesting.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Chief Cloninger, you're up, sir.
First item is we're requesting approval for new patrol belts and adapters for our holsters to outfit our whole patrol division. The vendor will be SPD Distributor with a total cost of the equipment of $14,433, and it is a budgeted item.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Continue on.
The next item is our annual subscription to Clearview AI, which is a database of software which we use for investigations for facial recognition software. The cost for the annual subscription is $16,894.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
The next item would be active shooter training equipment, which consists of 15 Glock training pistols outfitted with streamlight, tactical lights, and red dot sights with 15 sets of protective headgear and 3 cases of ammo. Purchase will come from GT Distributors at a cost of $21,517.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
The next item is a Tyler Technologies export interface software, which will allow us to access jail records, the jail management system, which would then let us integrate those that data into searches through our Peregrine system. The total cost of that installation and support would be $13,600.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
And then we're seeking approval to purchase a 2025 Ranger Polaris Crew Cab UTV, which will be used for downtown special events, use in patrolling the parks and trail systems and any woodland operations. It'll be a supplement to our existing fleet. The vendor would be Mountain Motorsports with a cost of $34,518, and then an additional cost of $3,195.94 from Diversified Electronics for the upfitting. The total cost of the purchase would be $37,713.94, and that is a budgeted item.
How would that get downtown from Public Safety Headquarters?
Sir?
How would that vehicle get downtown from the Public Safety Headquarters?
However they decide, whatever route they want to decide to take, since it's exempt from traffic laws.
That is one of the allowed vehicles?
It is.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
The last thing I have is the request to move forward with the replacement of a 175-gallon hot water tank at the Public Safety Headquarters. Took multiple bids from different vendors, with Rapid Flow Plumbing being the lowest bid at $9,140, which includes the cost of the tank and all related plumbing labor.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
Mayor, they drive to the cemetery and then they hit Porter. And
I didn't think those vehicles were, I was told some time ago that those vehicles were not allowed on the road.
They're not. Police vehicles are intended.
Yeah.
So I wasn't totally wrong, but I wasn't totally right either. I wasn't totally wrong, but I was absolutely wrong. Thank you, Chief. All right, Mr. Porter.
Yes, sir. Clarence Brown Conference Center parking lot is needing some repairs, and counties approach us about paying 50% of those costs. We do have tourism project development monies. They've received a proposal from Holbrook Asphalt Company in the amount, our portion would be $49,245.64 for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
First to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
The next item is a worker compensation additional premium. We had an audit done that they do every fiscal year. This one, total additional amount is $9,644 for your approval.
Any discussion? Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Welcome back, Wade.
Thank you. The 40-yard garbage, I can't do it this fast. Public Works and garage staff recommends purchasing a 2025 New Way Mammoth front loader from Sansom Equipment for a Sourcewell price of $369,861. This is a 2026 SPLOST budgeted item that we'll be purchasing out of solid waste reserves to be reimbursed at a later date
From SPOS, 2020.
from that 2026 SPLOST.
Thank you. And keep in mind, council, should you make a motion on this, which I hope you do, you'll have to include that funding strategy there. So that being said, a chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the purchase being made from reserve funds later replenished through the 2026 SPLOST.
Good job.
Perfect.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Wade.
Probably should have lumped both of these together, but Public Works and the garage staff recommends purchase of a Howe Durapack Python 28 cubic yard body. It's an automatic side loading truck from Carolina Environmental Systems for a Sourcewell pricing of $373,901. This is also a 2026 SPLOST budgeted item that will pay from solid waste reserves to be reimbursed by that 2026 SPLOST at a later date.
Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the purchase for this, with the solid waste reserves and reimbursed to come from the collection of the 2026 SPLOST funds.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Final one for you, Wade.
Thank you. We're, Stormwater Division would like to purchase an HP Design Jet T2600 multi-function printer and scanner, and extra ink and paper from Repro Products at a quoted price of $15,071.80. This is a budgeted item that will pay out of stormwater funds.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Save the best for last.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and
You
Council.
said you were going to be $5 if I said that.
We'll talk later. The library, Bartow County Library needs to replace a 10-ton HVAC unit. Mike Jones HVAC came back with a cost of $38,003. Bartow County has also agreed to reimburse us of 50% of that portion, $19,001.50. We're asking for council approval for that.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. There was discussion. It was just happening over here while we were trying. Go ahead, last item.
Departments, if you want me to go ahead with this one?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. List of equipment and departments deemed surplus has been presented to you. We're asking approval to surplus those items.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries
Thank you.
unanimously. But wait, there's more. We have the two items that you guys were so kind as to add onto the agenda tonight. Mr. Porter?
Yes, sir. The Land Bank Authority asked for reappointments of two members, Jessica Mitchum and Scott Painter, which continue. And we also have Sherelle Smith, who's in the audience tonight, would like to replace Antoine Hill for that position. And if approved, these three members will be on the board through June 30th, 2029.
All right, before you say anything, we have to approve. You sat through this whole thing for that? Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. Welcome to that, and thank you. It's became highly recommended by a mutual friend, and so welcome to the city, number one, and thank you for getting involved. And had I known that was you sitting there, we probably would have moved this to the front of the agenda. So there's an hour and 40 minutes of your life you never get back. So I'm sorry about that. The last item.
It's so bad.
Adam, Keith, do you want to handle this last one?
I will, yes.
Please do.
Mayor, I believe as a result of some meetings between the city and the county, or you and the commissioner specifically, based upon a lot of the residents in both the city and the county's concerns with respect to Center Road, it was decided that both the city and county would jointly approve a resolution imposing a moratorium on rezonings on Center Road for a 12-month period, and also for new subdivisions of property for residential developments in the Center Road corridor. This is only applicable to those rezonings or new subdivisions that have direct access onto Center Road. And it will run for 12 months, basically, beginning August 8th, which is tomorrow, I believe, and going until August 5th, 2026.
Thank you.
And I believe the commissioner approved his at his meeting this morning.
It was yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
But I would say Dan and I met with Peter Olson and Commissioner Taylor a couple weeks ago to again, we've heard it quite frequently that there's, again, concerns about the growth in that corridor, and again, city and county work together on a lot of other things. I'm really happy that we'll work together over the next 12 months to explore this corridor, what traffic improvements may need to be made. There'll be a traffic study that'll be conducted by our MPO, and I know it's both city and county areas. It will run from Highway 41 and Center Road all the way out to the Highway 20 spur. And so again, we just, I think we both heard from, and again, this council has heard from several of the residents in that area. And so in response to that, we're going to listen, and we're going to try to study this and see if we can't, if some improvements are necessary, and try to get a grasp on how to make sure that corridor is developed in a way that's great for everybody, the people living there, and for the city and the county. So that being said, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Is there any other business that needs to come before council tonight?
Well, I was
You
going to.
you have to step forward and say your name.
It's you.
Sorry. Yeah, I wanted to say something.
Yes, please come up, and your name and your address for our clerk, please.
My name, Claudia Constance Sweeney, 1607 Old Alabama Road, Taylorsville, Georgia.
Good luck, Julia.
Please sign in.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am here today to say thank you, the whole community, for, I do the events. I was starting with one event 5 years ago, and that is my passion, that is my love. That was a commitment to give to the community, diversity, inclusion, and give something to this country that understand that, in my mind, in my heart, is all of us under one flag, as my slogan. I wanted to say thank you, because in this situation, that is the country for some people or some ethnicities or whatever, this event that we had been doing this year was a success, where Anglo-American, Latino Americans, Afro-Americans, from everywhere, and everything was beautiful. I was so worried about it because I couldn't work properly these events. Really, I don't have budgets to do this. I work with some of my sponsors that had been always supporting me. The 15% of how I pay our events are, because it's our community, is from the food that we cook. We cook the food and we sell it, and with that money, 50% of that, we pay the 50%. The rest is the 90, the percentage is the sponsors, the majority from outside. But thank you and congratulations. I couldn't imagine that this community can be so great, because really has been so hard for me, and not for my family, because it's like, doesn't matter what happened, you have to be smiling. But congratulations. I hear everybody was saying, I say, oh my God, I'm gonna say something, that everybody's so worried about traffic and everything, and traffic is always everywhere. But when I was starting these events 25 years ago, I was thinking in this area that was so pretty, and I took me 22 years to finally could done the event in downtown. Thank you for the bathrooms, are beautiful. I believe we contribute something for that. The lights everywhere are beautiful. And I see more Anglo-American people in our events. And then the difference make us unique. And I believe probably I not speak so properly. I don't have so many words in English to say thank you, thank you, thank you. But I believe that it's only one race, humanity. And it's only one religion, love. And it's in my heart that way. Because I seen some people that is very mad for everything. Doesn't matter the skin.
So I'll
Thank you,
say
Mr.
Constanza's the person who's been behind the intercultural fest that have been going on for a few years.
5 years
And
now.
you have an event coming up on, the next one is coming up September 7th, correct?
Yes.
These are held on Sundays, and this one coming up, I know you do the Intercultural Fest, you do Colombian Independence Day, Dia de los Muertos will be towards the end of October, and this one is going to be...
And I want to clarify, we are not only an event, we are a nonprofit organization, 501c3, and these 4 events, I did it because I was thinking if I do only one event, the people are going to forget that it's going to be an event next year. And then I was starting like, oh, it's nothing, they're not doing anything here, and then I'm going to do the 4 events. And then each time, it's different. And it's people there. It's more than 2,000 people. And now with the new technology, well, we are proactive and we have high technology. Thanks. Thank you again. And sorry for I am getting excited. I have my ears so high and everything. But thank you, community. I love you now. I go into the East restaurant, East store, and I say thank you. And they are so excited about the events. And they told me that when we had our events, the people go there and purchase things, and that is the idea. Incentive the community, incentive the economy, and make the people know that it's not the color of the skin, okay? We can work together. And I would like to invite everybody, because I don't have the sponsors around. It's so funny, but I don't have a lot of sponsors about in Bartow. I don't have a lot of vendors. I couldn't drive for 6 months this year, and was like a miracle that this happened. Thank you, and go to my Facebook, my Instagram, and say like it. Thank you.
Thank you for sitting through our meeting tonight too. Anything else that needs to come before council this evening? If not, I don't know, it's been kind of fun. Let's do it all again. Motion to adjourn, we're adjourned. Good night.